Hi friends and welcome to my channel. My name is Ryan Abair and this is where I share my insights, and today I'm talking about the illusory world of emotions. No one ever taught me how to deal with an emotion, and I don't think we really deal with them because emotions seem so elusive. They come and go, and we try to hold on to the good ones and we try to run away from the bad ones, and that only seems to intensify how wacky they are. So, what do we do to deal with an emotion? I don't think we deal with them. The only thing that we can do is shed light upon them. Stick around and I'll explain. Emotions, like all things that arise in consciousness, are weird and spontaneous. And we often think that if we can pinpoint a reason why we feel a certain way, then that will make it go away, particularly if we're depressed, empty feeling, or also elated and exuberant. However, we know that when we attribute contentment or joy to something like coming into a bunch of money, we know that's bullshit. But we forget. And we still fantasize about winning the lottery and coming into all kinds of money when we feel down. And there are people who are, by materialistic standards, have nothing and are very, very happy. And we know that there are people who are ultra rich and miserable. So it seems to me that you can't put a price on that, but we still feel that. In the same way that perhaps wanting a beautiful body and not having one makes you depressed. But I believe that everything that arises in consciousness in its own domain is completely and totally unreasonable. Why anything exists is unreasonable. And your search for a reason brings you into a bunny hole that has no conclusion. I mean, if you think about it for a second, from the standpoint of the entire universe, is there a reason why the universe exists? A biologist, for example, might say that a human being exists or because their parents had sex. And they'd go through this elaborate explanation saying, your father did this to your mother, and your mother's fertilized egg grew in her belly, and there you are. Oh, so we, for the longest time, when we learn about sexual intercourse, we sort of accept that the reason why I am here is because back in the 70s, my mom and dad engaged in a sex act. Oh, interesting. But you know what's interesting about that? Is that for somebody like me, that's not enough. The biologist's explanation doesn't satisfy me. In the same way as I might say, I'm depressed because I lost my hair. I'm depressed because someone died. I'm depressed because I don't have any money. I'm depressed because I don't know what I want. See, when you pin reasons to anything that arises like that, it seems ludicrous. It seems like a moving target. Going back to the reason why a human being exists, if you probe that even further, you wonder, okay, then why do my parents have sex? Nobody wants to think about their parents having sex. But this is how unreasonable this is if you get into it. You might think, my dad was horny that night. Or they just wanted children. Or the heat of the moment just sort of took over. See, the biologist can't really convince me that libido is the reason why I'm here. Or a strong desire for a child. Or a rape. God forbid. Or an accidental encounter in the backseat of a car. Regardless of the reason, if you probe it even further, you think, okay, well, why would that be? Horniness, accidents, intentions, libido, that's how it is. Those all explain only one thing. That I'm a fluke of nature. And that word fluke of nature, I'm going to do a quick search of what that means. What's a fluke? Fluke is an unlikely chance occurrence, especially a surprising piece of luck. So ultimately, the universe is here as a surprising piece of luck. It's a fluke of a fluke. Of a fluke of a fluke. I guess it goes infinitely. And so is an emotion. So an emotion seems to just arise, and it happens coincidentally with something out here, and we think, oh, that's what makes me mad, or that's what makes me happy, or that's what makes me... Yes, it seems as though a joke makes you laugh, but I can't prove the correlation between those two events. I can't see the link because some people laugh and some people don't. Some people cry at death. Some people laugh at death. I have seen people laugh at a funeral. Some people take life so seriously and somber, and other people goof the hell off. I can't see how it is that these so-called correlations between events and emotions are consistent universally. You see? My friend Jerry was in hospice for a couple of weeks, and he was a clown, joking, until his dying day. He didn't take life seriously, but some people think life is serious, so they have these serious emotions, and they think that life is coming at them and they're victims. And if you really get into the nuts and bolts of all things that arise in your consciousness, all temporary things, your life, the people in your life, your jobs, your body, all of it is a fluke of nature that within its own domain is completely independent. Laughing in its own domain is laughing. What causes laughing? Hell if I know. Sometimes I just laugh. Sometimes I just feel depressed. Like clouds. Just there. It's a fluke of nature. And you have no control over what arises in your consciousness. These feelings are energies that pass through the sky. Let's say that you're just this empty vessel, and these energies pass through the sky, and they are coincidental with all sorts of other shit. That's what I think. And so you get in traffic, for example. You say, this traffic is making me frustrated. Wait a minute. There's some people who don't get bothered by that. How is it that they can decouple all of these so-called reasons? You know why? Because the entire universe is senseless, impersonal. And so are emotions. So what do? Well, first of all, we isolate everything and understand that the arising of nature is a fluke. And the arising of things in your life are flukish. The sensation of control is flukish. A thought is flukish. And when these negative energies are these energies which are uncomfortable, energy in motion is an emotion. What I do is I first of all, I catch myself trying to figure out, why are you sad, Ryan? And I realize that's unreasonable. I am unreasonably sad. Okay, it's a fluke of nature, like a passing storm. It's darkness in me. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shed light upon it. And I'm going to close my eyes and direct all of my attention to the emotion, not the thoughts. The thoughts are separate flukes. But I'm going to draw all of my attention to this energy called an emotion. And I'm going to shed light upon it. Jesus said you were the light of the world, meaning we are going to devote consciousness. We're going to concentrate consciousness to a singular sensation. We're not going to talk about it. This is where I think healing begins. It's pure, radiant attentiveness. Now, how do you do this? I close my eyes and I sense the emotion. I feel how, like, especially if I have a negative, or if I'm angry, or if I'm panicky, I feel the heart. I feel the sweat. I feel the solar plexus. This is where the energy usually is. I close my eyes and I feel my feelings. And realize that I'm trying to run away from a feeling. And negative feelings don't like to be noticed. Just like the ego doesn't like to be noticed either. The ego doesn't like to have light shed upon it. Not in words. None of this healing can exist in a story. This is pure attention, pure consciousness, whereby the mind shuts the hell up. All you do is you work to bring your attention to the energy, shed light upon it, notice it, and spend time feeling the feeling. I know. If you spend time running from the feeling or distracting yourself, it intensifies. I love what Fabian Gray says. He says, meditation is our time to feel our feelings. So when you have a difficult emotion, rather than distracting yourself, trying to find a reason for it, thinking, which is a separate thing, I want you to stop and heal it by shedding light upon it. It is okay. Your heart's in your throat. You want to just die. I know, but it is a fluke of nature. It is something that has arisen in you. You can't control it, but you can pay attention to it, and that's it. When you bring this concentrated, clear light, you bring light upon it, both in two definitions. You shine on it, because you feel it all in your body, and then light as in weightless, you see. And then it starts to do this. It just kind of dissolves. You got to practice shedding light on your emotions. And if you have this, if you wake up one day and you feel good, notice that too. And that tends to give it a little energy. That's called gratitude. Real gratitude is noticing an emotion that feels good. You see, we say, oh, I'm grateful for my comfortable chair. I'm grateful for my shirt. Oh, no. That's another unreasonable thing. You're trying to find a reason to be grateful. I call bullshit on it all. If you just, gratefulness is noticing when you feel euphoric. Yes, it's nice to point to reasons out here, but gratefulness is an internal phenomenon. It is also a fluke of nature and independent of all of your circumstances, believe it or not. These words were penned in a rat-infested prison shortly before he was put to death. Paul wrote, under those conditions, rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice. Paul found a way to be happy in stench and filth in a prison. Now, luckily, most of us are not in those conditions. But if you can be happy in a prison, I feel, and even be happy on your hospice bed, I feel it's all unreasonable. That's my feel. That's my theory. And I just pare down. If my mind's out of control, then I draw all of consciousness to the mind. And notice that when I notice my thoughts, things slow down. So the ego is the mind telling a story. If I bring all of my attention to my emotions, I become grateful, but without saying anything. See, gratitude is really wordless. You see, it's unreasonable. It's drawing attention to a positive energy and dwelling in it. You see. And stop trying to look outside. This is happening, and this is why, and this is why, and this is why. Go back to the universe. Well, the universe is here. I have no idea why anything exists. It all is flukish to me. Those are my theories, friends. These things work for me, and I want you to try them. So when somebody says, what's wrong? Stop trying to find a reason. Shed light upon it. Warm it up. Relax into it. Bring attention to it. And become the light of the world. That's you. And you can be a shining light. It's unconditioned. It's just there. My name is Ryan Abair. I hope that you enjoyed the way I think. And if you do, please check out my blog. It's called mymorningmotivator.com. And we'll see you next time.